Long Day Next, written by Larry Reimer, also narrated by Larry Reimer. Introduction. This is simply an amusing story, not meant to ruffle any feathers or offend a single soul. It is not the author's intention to disrespect Kanye West, any political party, or anyone mentioned in this book. This was written simply for laughs and giggles. Enjoy. Chapter 1. Long Day. Casanova hit the black leather couch as if he had just been working for a non-stop year. At least that's what it felt like. He worked at a local pharmacy and had just gotten home from work. He grabbed the remote control and turned on the television. After changing the channel a couple of times, he spotted one of his favorite celebrities. Kanye West was on the screen. "Turn that shit off," Casanova's mother yelled. She was not a fan of Kanye. People in the world either loved Kanye or hated him. There weren't many people in the middle. Many people loved the music that he had recorded and produced. At one point, Kanye owned one of the most popular sneaker brands ever. "He's a nut," Casanova's mother said. "Yeah, but the man is a genius as well," Casanova said back to her. He then turned the volume up. Kanye was looking very serious. "And that's why we need new leadership," Kanye shouted. "Nothing's changed in this country in a while. I'm going to raise taxes for the rich and lower them for the poor. I'm going to make sure that every police officer involved in police brutality is held accountable. I'm going to give the people what they want. Reparations are coming too," Kanye sternly said. "Wow, that's a big statement," Casanova's mother said to him. "Shh," Casanova said to her as he gestured for her to be quiet. Kanye continued on his rant. "Black people have never been given anything for our pain. We've been left for dead and pushed into the ghettos to survive," Kanye yelled as he expressed his grievances. "We're still licking our wounds from slavery. That's why if I'm elected president, the first thing that I will do is give out reparations," he added. "That's a start to reversing what's been done to us. Anyone who is pro-black should vote for me. Don't get it twisted. Pro-black is not anti-white. It's just that everyone else has been given a head start. I'm just trying to even the playing field. I love every type of people, but it's time for us to shine. You took us from pyramids to projects. Now it's time to go from the projects to the penthouse." Just then, a lot of cheering was heard from where Kanye was speaking. Casanova and his mother were in awe. "It's our time. Represent," Kanye yelled as he threw his hand into the air. More cheering followed. "I would never have considered making that man my president until now," Casanova's mother said. "See? Kanye is like the pineapple on pizza. You're either going to love him or hate him. There's a reason why. The man is a genius," Casanova said back to his mother. The news program had now gone to commercials. Casanova walked into the other room to use the bathroom. After he emptied his bowels, he decided to take a shower. Once he got under the warm stream of water, he didn't want to leave. It felt so good. Eventually, after rubbing soap up and down his body, he decided to exit the shower. He dried off with a towel and changed into a fresh pair of clothes. When he got back to the living room, he changed the television channel. The next channel was showing clips of what Kanye has said. He watched it for a few seconds and then changed it again. The next channel was no different. Kanye was on it too. He tried a few different channels before realizing that Kanye West was now the major story on every channel. Giving out reparations for chattel slavery was a bold promise. Kanye clearly thought that he could do this and not receive any resistance. In Kanye's defense, if you don't believe that you can achieve something, then it's highly unlikely that you will be successful. Even if the American people wouldn't believe in him, he sure believed in himself. The next day, Casanova had to go to work. He worked at a local pharmacy. Casanova drove himself there every day of the work week. He usually didn't work weekends, and he liked it that way. He had a lot of different duties at the store. He would ring customers up, organize the shelves, print photo orders out, and much more. The garbage outside of the store had to be changed every shift. Casanova went outside with a new garbage bag and started to remove the bag that was currently in the receptacle. A white man walked out of the store. Just as the man got past Casanova, his bag tore open and the groceries fell out onto the floor of the parking lot. "Stupid fucking bag," the man yelled. "I'll get you a new one," Casanova said to him as he walked back into the store. When Casanova came back outside, he handed the bag to the man. "Thank you," he said. "They never should have outlawed plastic bags. These paper ones are so stupid," the man said. There was a law in the state of New York that all bags given by stores had to be made of paper. Plastic bags were not allowed to be given out. "I mean, honestly, which would you prefer, paper or plastic?" the man asked Casanova. "Neither one. My girlfriend isn't that ugly," Casanova said with a smile. Both of them laughed for a few seconds. "Paper bags are better for the environment," Casanova said to the man. "That's what they tell you," the man said. "The truth is that plastic bags have an environmental benefit over paper bags. Plastic bags require a lot less energy to manufacture, and they consume a lot less water than what's used to make paper bags. They are much better when you consider their production, transportation, and disposal. Besides a few small animals who may get caught in them, plastic bags are far better for the environment. Do the research for yourself," the man said. "Wow, without fact checking any of that, this ban of plastic bags seems stupid," Casanova responded. "Everything in America is going to shit. It costs now more to live than it ever did," the man firmly stated. "That's why we need Kanye in office," Casanova responded. "Are you fucking crazy? You're backing that asshole? He's not equipped to take the country over," the man angrily said. "Reparations could fix a lot of things," Casanova responded. The man immediately turned his back and walked away to his vehicle. He didn't say goodbye to Casanova or anything. Casanova figured that the man was deeply offended by what he had said. Casanova threw the trash away in the nearby dumpster and went back into the store. "Could you cover me?" a girl at the register asked him. "I'm getting tired up here. I'm going to take my break," she said. "Sure," said Casanova as he walked behind the counter and signed himself onto the register. Casanova rang out customer after customer. A group of kids walked into the store. "Kanye," one of them shouted. Casanova couldn't make out the rest of what they were talking about, as he was busy with other customers. It now seemed like everyone around was interested in Kanye West. He had surely made a name for himself once again. Kanye always had a history of being the headline. Every few years, he would say or do something that shocked the world. This time was no different. Chapter 2. Next. Kanye was the biggest name out there. In 2020, he had also attempted to run for president. However, he only received about 60,000 votes. This time around, Black Americans all over the country were supporting him. He was very adamant about giving out reparations for slavery. He was interviewed on many television programs and radio stations. Also, his music was more popular than ever. The sales on all of his previous rap albums soared through the roof. The primary election was nearing. This was an election which would decide who would be candidates for the upcoming election. Kanye was running as a Democrat. Just the suggestion of reparations alone was giving him a major edge over the competition. Casanova had been following the news station closely. He showed his mother many of Kanye's interviews from previous years. Even before Kanye chose to seriously run for president, he was a very popular rapper, music producer, and designer. Casanova's mother went from despising Kanye to being on his side. So did much of the United States. As usual, people either loved or hated the man. The only difference now was people were intense. Everyone was now extremely passionate about their support or disdain. Either way, Kanye had never received as much publicity as he was receiving now. Kanye's campaign slogan was the word represent. People started wearing black shirts in public with the word written on them in bold white lettering. The primary election came around. It was held 7 months before the actual election. Kanye did extremely well leading up to the general election. He was now the main candidate for the Democratic Party. It was pretty much certain that the next president of the United States would be either Kanye West or his opponent from the Republican Party. That man's name was Luke Burke. He proposed that there be a presidential debate. Kanye immediately agreed to this. Casanova and his mother were very excited about the upcoming debate. They could not wait until the day came. When it finally came, they sat on their couch a good while before the program would start on television. Finally, it was time. There was a short introduction to the program, and then both candidates walked onto the stage. The mediator on the show introduced them both. Now, Kanye was being put to the test. Luke Burke was a taller, white brunette man with a crooked nose. When the topic of abortion came up, Kanye stated that he didn't like to think of the morbid topic. However, he also stated that he was pro choice and would never stand in the way of a woman choosing what to do with her body. His opponent Luke didn't do so well answering that question. He spoke in more detail than Kanye about the subject, but it seemed like he took the pro life stance for the most part. During the debate, Luke had a few problems with what Kanye had said or done in the past. In 2020, Kanye claimed to align himself with the Republican Party and even met with Donald Trump. How is he running as a Democrat now? Kanye has also been seen saying that slavery was a choice. Kanye should not allowed to be president. He is not even a politician. He is a hip-hop artist. Hip-hop is violent and aggressive. Rappers objectify women, condone using all type of drugs, and are horrible people. I actually have great plans for the nation. He has nothing but the mind of a 10-year-old. As far as reparations go, how would we do it? There's no possible way, said Luke. Kanye looked eager to speak while he was listening to his opponent. Luke obviously had a very skewed perception of rap music, which didn't look good for him. When it was Kanye's turn to talk, he made his best attempt to clear things up. Kanye sat there with a large coffee cup, taking a sip every couple of minutes. First off, I met with President Trump to raise some good ideas. Trump used me like a pawn to get black people onto his side. I no longer like that man. He's a scam artist. Make America great again was his slogan, but when was America ever great for black people? As far as I'm saying, when I said slavery was a choice, sometimes it's not what I say, but how I say it. Read between the lines. The point that I was actually trying to make was that blacks should have revolted together. Why did we just sit there in the worst conditions known to man? Slaves should have risen up all at once. They could stop one of us, but they couldn't have stopped all of us, Kanye stated. That is a very simple solution to a complex problem, Mr. West, but thank you for clarifying what you meant, said the mediator. I'll also give you a chance to respond to what Mr. Burke said about you as far as being a hip-hop artist. Kanye paused for a moment and then began to speak. First off, hip-hop isn't a form of music. It's a culture. It embodies 5 different elements. Poetry and rap are only a part of hip-hop. The other elements are dance, graffiti, DJing, and knowledge. It's bigger than the gangster rap section that you're referring to, Kanye responded. As far as gangster rap goes, you could do something in bad taste as long as it doesn't taste bad. In other words, you have to approach it artistically, he added. As far as my music goes, it's an aggressive spoken word style mixed with soul. I make music for the kids who were never loved properly. The ones who have been completely ostracized from society. The ones that have their lives turned into movies. The ones that get harassed for no reason. The best get treated like the worst. Why does it have to be like chasing a ghost? Why can't they have a piece of the pie? Why do we poison them mentally and physically? Why can't we speak? Why won't you say something? We're going through more pain than you can imagine. That's who I do it for, Kanye stated. People are either going to build with you or destroy you. It doesn't take 20 years to figure that out, he added. As far as reparations, how do you intend to properly do it, Mr. West? The mediator asked him. Let's not worry about the how. We are going to get it done regardless. I'm going to pay this money out like it was 40 acres and a mule. Our plan of giving reparations will hopefully undo some of the major setbacks that blacks have faced. Even being pushed into the ghettos wasn't our fault. We give so much money to other countries, yet we refuse to take care of our own people. This country was built on the backs of black people, Kanye said. We're going to get it done. Don't worry about the how. We'll work out the small details later, he added. Okay, Mr. Burke, you are free to respond to Kanye, the mediator said. Mr. Burke was starting to look very angry. Those details that you were referring to are the entire reason why giving reparations is an insurmountable task. The entire question is how. I am becoming very tired of going back and forth with Mr. West. He has no clue of what's going on in the world, said Luke. I actually have plans to revitalize underprivileged communities. Being the president is not a menial job. Kanye didn't wait for permission to speak. Out of turn, he shouted, Luke Burke doesn't care about black people. Anyone who would vote for him doesn't either. The mediator quickly stopped Kanye from speaking. We will now hear Mr. Burke's side, he said. Kanye is a fool. He has promised reparations to every African American person in the United States. It's an easy thing to say, but much harder to figure out how to do fairly or sensibly. If people want reparations, they should go out and play the lottery, Luke said. This was the wrong thing to say. Everyone who had been watching the debate must have been shocked by that statement. I can't believe that I am actually having a debate with a man such as him. I care about our African American population very much. The suggestion that I somehow dislike blacks is ludicrous. I actually have a plan set in place to make it easier for most Americans. Kanye just spews whatever comes to his mind. Kanye once said that he loved Adolf Hitler, Luke stated. When it came time for Kanye to respond, he was now very angry. I love all Jewish people. I have never been anti-Semitic. It's just that I think Hitler was a man with some very great ideas, Kanye said. The next time that Luke Burke spoke, he addressed this comment. Being fond of Hitler and loving the Jewish people are mutually exclusive. It's one or the other. The things that Kanye is saying are both outrageous and idiotic, Luke stated. The debate went on for a while. After all of that, it was full of snide remarks, false equivalents, and an overall tense feeling in the air. Kanye is displaying major signs of an untreated mental illness. He was once a billionaire. He lost much of his money when his fashion deal was ruined due to anti-Semitic statements. They didn't want to deal with Kanye anymore, and neither should America. We need an adult in office, not a child. He is far too immature for this. This was by far the craziest debate in election history. Both of the candidates seemed angry and hostile. Back home, Casanova and his mother were loving the show from their couch at home. They were both still on Kanye's side, much like many Americans. At the end of the debate, the mediator asked both men to shake hands. Well, it's been a heated debate, folks. I would like it if both candidates would come to the center stage and shake hands. That's the American way, he said. Kanye nodded his head and met his opponent in the middle of the room. Good luck, bro, Kanye said as he extended his hand out for a shake. What's that smell? Luke Burke said out loud. I could smell the alcohol. He's drunk, Luke shouted. I'm just living my life, Kanye responded. Kanye West was now the first person in history to be under the influence of liquor at a presidential debate. What a night this was. Apparently, Kanye had alcohol inside of his coffee cup. For the next month, all that anyone was talking about was this debate. From news channels to radio stations, Kanye and Luke were the topic of conversation. Chapter 3. The Black House. The big election of 2032 came. Casanova and his mother went out to vote. They both ended up voting for Kanye West. When they walked out of the polling place, they heard a car blasting some of Kanye's music. It was so surreal. They got in their car and drove home. They awaited the votes to be counted. The next day, while watching the news, a reporter on the station said that Kanye was way ahead. The registrar of voters took a couple days to finalize and certify the official results. 2 days after the big election, Casanova and his mother were glued to their television screen. They were awaiting the big news. All of a sudden, every news channel was broadcasting the same thing. Kanye West had won the election. Casanova hugged his mother tightly. Kanye's in the White House, she screamed. Well, now it's the Black House, Casanova replied. The two of them were so excited. Luke Burke had actually won the popular vote, but still lost the election. A little while after that, Kanye made his inaugural address. Of course, Casanova and his mom watched it on the television. Kanye came onto the screen and Casanova's mother cheered. I'm the new king. I'm going to set things right. Every black person in this country is going to get what they deserve. White people have had a 400-year head start. Now it's time that we catch up. It was only right that Kanye said this because the black vote is what got him into office. Kanye smiled on the television screen like no one had ever seen him smile before. Kanye's running mate was a man named Clinton Leone. Not much was ever spoken about his vice president. Kanye was the main focus of every conversation. The first thing I'm going to do is change that stupid national anthem. The new national anthem is going to be Through the Wire, Kanye said. Holy shit, Casanova said. That's a great song, but does it really need to replace the Star-Spangled Banner, he asked. I've never heard of it. Play it for me, his mother said. Casanova then took out his phone and brought the song up. Through the Wire was one of the first songs that Kanye West had released. It came out in 2003. His mother really liked the song, but didn't think that it was deserving of becoming the new national anthem. Plus, this book is stupid. The author is portraying me all wrong, Kanye screamed. Two men then rushed the stage where Kanye was standing and escorted him away as he shouted, "No, fuck that. I'm gonna say something. Tell him. Tell him." The two men pushed him off the stage and the screen went blank on Casanova's television. Did Kanye just break the fourth wall? Casanova said out loud as he stared at the blank screen. Breaking the fourth wall is a literary device that occurs when a performer in a work of fiction acknowledges the presence of an audience, camera, or other observer, such as a reader. This can be done by speaking directly to the audience, doing something to them, or simply noticing them. For example, in a movie or TV show, an actor might break the fourth wall by speaking directly to the camera. It is rare, but a few characters in graphic novels have acknowledged that they are fictional characters inside of a comic book. Leave it to Kanye to run his mouth and almost ruin a perfectly good book. Or did he just make it better? About a week later, Kanye had a meeting with his senior advisors in the White House. Kanye was late to this meeting, but a man approached him outside of the office before he walked in. "Hey, Kanye, my name's Charles Murphy. Just call me Chuck. I'm a huge fan. I love everything that you do. Whatever you need done, just let me know. I'll guide you through it. You might get some resistance from these other guys, but stick with me. I'm willing to go against the grain. I see your vision and I fully support it," Chuck said. "If you need to, you can always make some executive orders that no one can argue with," he continued. Kanye's face lit up. Chuck had just fed Kanye's ego, which was one of the best ways to get on his side. At the meeting, Kanye's advisors brought up some very serious topics, which Kanye seemed to completely disregard. At one point, a woman was speaking about tax issues, and Kanye rudely interrupted. "Why isn't there a coffee machine in here?" Kanye asked. "I want some coffee," he said. "Let's stay on task, Mr. West," a different man said. "Well, this national anthem has to be changed immediately," Kanye stated. "Well, we would need to get clearance from the owners first," the man said. "Get them on the phone." "Shaka Khan, too," Kanye said. "Okay, Mr. President," the man replied. The song that Kanye had in mind had a sample of Shaka Khan's "Through the Fire" and featured him rapping over a nice beat. His advisors got in contact with the owners of the sample. It was 3 different people. Tom Keene, David Foster, and Cynthia Whale were all contacted. They set up a meeting with the new president and these people. Shaka Khan was also invited, since she was the one singing the song. When the day came, they all sat down together in an office in the White House. Shaka Khan sat across from President Kanye. "I hate that song," she said. "You ruined a classic," she said, implying that her original version of the song was way better than Kanye's track, which sampled it. "It's about time that the United States had a little flavor. This country has lacked seasoning for a very long time. We need to come to an agreement," Kanye said. "We are willing to allow whatever Miss Shaka Khan is okay with," Tom Keene said, as the others nodded their head in agreement. "I'm not letting you make Through the Wire the national anthem," Shaka said. "The most that I will allow is for my original song to be chosen, not yours," she added. President Kanye looked saddened. "If you make my song the national anthem, it's still a good promotion for your song. It's a song and melody that both of us are famous for. You would probably even be able to rap your version at the Super Bowl if you wanted," Shaka Khan said. Kanye thought about her compromise. "No, it has to be my song," he said. As a note, no one would even remember that song if it wasn't for me breathing life back into it, he added. "We'll just agree to disagree," Shaka said. "You could take your little corny rap song and shove it up your ass," she yelled at Kanye. It was clear that the deal wasn't going to happen. After the meeting, Kanye had another idea. One of his favorite songs was "Lean on Me" by Bill Withers. He had his staff contact the owners of that song, and the music group immediately agreed to allow it to be used as the new national anthem. Kanye had to sign a bunch of paperwork to make it official. The new national anthem was now "Lean on Me." Kanye got on television again. Normally, the whole nation watched him. It was way bigger than just Casanova and his mother. "The new national anthem is Lean on Me," Kanye said. "It represents the relationship between people in America. We all need to care for each other regardless of race, nation, or creed," he added. "If we come together and put our differences aside, there's no limit to how far we can go." As usual, President Kanye was either loved or hated. There wasn't any in between. One thing was for sure, he was the most popular president ever. One day, one of Kanye's advisors walked into his office. Her name was Joan. She was a short black woman with a pretty face. Even though she was in her late 50s, she didn't look like it. Sir, the governor of Florida would like to speak with you about a few issues. Also, the governor of New York would like you to contact him, Joan said. Screw Florida. I don't want to talk to him. What's the New York governor want? Kanye responded. Well, I could put him on the line for you. I'll transfer the call to your desk, she said. Okay, said Kanye as he sat back in his chair and rested his feet on his desk as if he were home. Well, to be fair, he was home. The White House was now his. The phone rang. Hello, said Kanye. Hello, Mr. President. This is David Lopez, the governor of New York, the voice on the phone said. How can I help you, Mr. Governor? Kanye asked. Well, I'd like to bring up a few issues. Inflation woes, housing costs, and problems with New York City schools. Although I don't agree with some of your politics, I would like to... Just then, Kanye abruptly hung up the phone on him. Asshole, Kanye muttered under his breath. One thing that you had to be careful of was Kanye's ego. You didn't want to offend Kanye in any way, or he would shut down completely. Chapter 4. Rebound. About a week later, Kanye had another meeting with his advisors. As usual, Kanye was very late for this meeting. He walked into the room and immediately sat down amongst the 10 other people in the room. One man stood up and addressed Kanye. Mr. President, we realize that you are very adamant about giving out reparations, and today we will discuss it, the man stated. Okay, lay it on me, Kanye responded. The man sighed and then started to speak. Well, there are many issues with giving reparations for chattel slavery. If the money is expected to come from taxpayers, it would be unfair because no one alive today is responsible for slavery. Reparations are also impractical because of the cost, especially in states with large deficits. Furthermore, it is impossible to put a monetary value on the impact of slavery. Many people feel that giving money to the descendants of slaves would greatly reverse some of the injustices caused to black people. These problems include slavery, segregation, the denial of fair housing, education, and employment opportunities. However, it would be near impossible to fairly determine who is eligible for reparations. Some also claim that children in foster care, incarcerated people, those with mental illnesses, and the unhoused may be left out. A promise of reparations may also further divide the country. Yes, it may somewhat assist black Americans, but there is no feasible way to disperse these funds. Slavery was something horrible that never should have happened, but there isn't a good way to compensate the relatives of slaves for their grievances. We have given this great thought, and it simply cannot be done, the man said. This made Kanye furious. He began to yell at them all. We give so much money to foreign countries, yet we can't even take care of our own, he screamed. Deep inside, Kanye was worried that people would think that he tricked them just to become president. In his mind, he had to give out reparations. We're not paying any of the money that we owe to other nations until we give our own people reparations. Tell them that all the money is going to black people, Kanye yelled. One advisor from the bunch spoke up. You cannot just make the national deficit appear. What he's talking about is a sovereign default. That is crazy. We cannot declare a sovereign default. It would crash the world's economy. All of those loans are the backbones of other investments. It would also destroy economic ties that we have with friendly countries. We would be left holding a bunch of worthless paper and no country would ever deal with us again. The room was silent for about 5 seconds. Then Kanye said, like it or not, that's what's happening. We're not paying anything to foreign countries until we take care of our own people. Kanye looked around the room and saw his senior advisor, Chuck, give him the wink of an eye. Kanye then stopped speaking and knew that he had someone who could get the job done. After the meeting, Kanye approached Chuck. I did the math. There are about 41 million black people living in the United States. That's almost $1 million for every legal black citizen. Pretty good chunk of money, huh? Kanye said to him. Every black person could buy a nice home in the suburbs and live happily ever after, he excitedly said to Chuck. There was a short moment of silence. Chuck sighed, and then he explained to Kanye that the trillions of dollars that were owed to foreign countries simply did not exist. He explained to Kanye that the United States wasn't paying it because they couldn't at the time. Kanye was under the impression that the government could just give all of the money out to black people instead of it going to other nations. This wasn't the case. Where would the money come from? Chuck asked him. Damn, I don't know, but one thing is for sure, we're not paying anything to anyone before reparations are given out, Kanye stated. Chuck and Kanye were alone in a hallway of the White House. Chuck gestured for Kanye to follow him into a nearby office. Once in the office, Chuck spoke in a very low voice. If you want to declare a sovereign default and not pay anyone, we could get that done. Like I said before, I've always been a fan of yours and I trust your vision, Chuck said to him. The total debt of the federal government is $40 trillion. We could figure a way out of that, Chuck continued. Okay, we're going to declare a sovereign default, the president said. The two men shook hands. I'll start working on that immediately, Chuck said as he walked away. What Chuck had just agreed to with Kanye was strictly an attempt to gain his favor. He had to be the worst advisor that any president had ever seen, but he loved Kanye. He also had the smarts to get it done. The next day, Kanye was on the news again. Casanova and his mother caught this speech on television as well. When they turned on the television, Kanye was already yelling, "We are not paying any money to any other foreign countries. Our debt is $40 trillion. Instead, that money is going to black people. That's almost $1 million for every black person living in this country," he yelled. Kanye completely disregarded what his advisors had told him. At this point, he was making a promise that he could not keep. Casanova and his mother decided to keep the news channel on all day, even after Kanye's speech was done. They were excited. They talked with each other about all of the things that they would do with the money and how it would make their lives better. In a few hours, there was a breaking news alert. Casanova's mother had gone to sleep, and he was in the kitchen making himself some dinner. On the television, they showed Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of North Korea. "We are going to war with the United States of America. We now have the capability to reach their land with weapons of mass destruction," Kim Jong-un said. Casanova's mouth dropped. He couldn't believe what he had just heard. "Tell Dennis Rodman to call me immediately," the Supreme Leader demanded. Dennis Rodman was a former star basketball player. Kim Jong-un loved basketball, and he had made best friends with him. Dennis Rodman would fly out to visit Kim Jong-un every once in a while. Whatever the Supreme Leader wanted, he only wanted to speak to Dennis Rodman. He was refusing to speak with Kanye or anyone else from the U.S. government. Could it be that Dennis Rodman was the only one who could save the world? Soon we would see. Dennis got on the phone with the Supreme Leader. He demanded that Rodman fly out to North Korea and meet with him. He would not say anything besides that. Soon, a flight was arranged. Dennis was now on his way to North Korea. When he got to the airport, a very fancy car was there waiting for him. Besides the driver, there were two other men in the car with Dennis. The car took Dennis to a warehouse in Nampo, a town in North Korea. When they arrived, the two men escorted Rodman into the building. There, Kim Jong-un was waiting for him with a very tall man. "Hello, worm. Come with me," the Supreme Leader said to Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman's basketball nickname was the Worm. That's why Kim Jong-un just called him that. The men all walked through a couple of doors, into a final door that led to a basketball court. When they were all in the room, he told Dennis what he wanted. "You will play a one-on-one game of basketball with this man," the Supreme Leader said to Dennis as he pointed to the very tall man. "If you win, I will leave the United States alone. If you lose, I will go to war with the United States of America," he told Dennis. "Is this the only way?" Rodman asked him. "Yes, bring the ball. The game is to 10 points. Each basket is worth 1 point. It will be a full-court game, one-on-one," he said. "Okay, I got this," Dennis responded. "Come for the jump ball," the Supreme Leader told him. Dennis Rodman was 6'7", but the other man was a little taller than him. The two of them lined up at the half-court mark, and Kim Jong-un tossed the ball into the air. The other man won the jump ball. He immediately dribbled it down the court and dunked the ball. Dennis knew that he had to play good defense now. Otherwise, this tall man would just dunk it every single time. It was Rodman's turn to be in the possession of the ball. He ran down the court, shot a jump shot. It went in. Now the other man tried to score the same way that he made the first basket. Dennis played good defense and wouldn't let him close to the basket. The man picked up his dribble. He now had to shoot. When he shot, it hit the rim, bounced off of the backboard, hit the rim again, and then flew away. It seemed as if Dennis knew exactly where the ball would come off the rim, and he grabbed the rebound. This was his expertise. Dennis Rodman had been the greatest rebounder that the NBA had ever seen. Even in his old age, he was grabbing every single rebound. He wasn't giving this tall man the chance to shoot twice. He guarded so well that he forced the man to shoot the ball every single time. Some shots went in and others missed. Each time the man missed, Dennis got the rebound. This gave Rodman the edge over the taller man. Dennis had a great game and outscored the other man. Dennis just needed one more point to win the game. He dribbled the ball down the court. Since he was winning, he decided to make the game a little more exciting. Dennis attempted a three-point shot. It went in. Kim Jong-un shouted from the nearby bleachers where he had been watching the game. "Yes!" he yelled. It looked like Dennis Rodman had just saved the United States from a war. After the game, Kim Jong-un approached Dennis. He had a very happy look on his face. "Congratulations," he said. "I will now sentence you to an hour of hard labor." Dennis Rodman looked very perplexed. The Supreme Leader then said, "Bring them in." A group of 10 girls entered the gym. They approached Dennis and began to rub his shoulders and other parts of his body. "All for me?" Dennis asked. "Yes, take him to the Flower Hotel and please him like you've never pleased a man before," Kim said. A huge smile came across Rodman's face. Transportation was arranged for Dennis to go to the Flower Hotel. It was a huge building. Dennis was escorted by 2 men onto an elevator. They took him up to the 19th floor. They then walked with him to one of the room doors. "This is it. You may enter," one of the men said to Dennis. He walked inside of the huge room to see all of the 10 women from the gym were lying in the room, naked. Dennis immediately took off all of his clothing and had sex with each and every one of the 10 women. All of them took turns pleasing Rodman. When he was finally finished, he jumped into a king-sized bed and fell asleep. In the morning, a flight was arranged for Dennis to go back to the United States. When he got back, he received a phone call from the president himself. "Thank you, Dennis," Kanye said. "You saved us all," he continued. "No problem, Kanye," Dennis responded. Kanye then invited him to the White House. In about a week, Dennis Rodman went to the White House to meet with Kanye. He was brought into Kanye's office. 3 men were in the office along with Kanye. Dennis gave Kanye a hug and 2 men sat down. "I'm going to give you the Medal of Honor," Kanye said. "Mr. President, although he may be deserving of the decoration, that is strictly a military award. He would not be allowed to receive it," a different man said. "You just gave the United States a happy ending. That pun was very much intended," Kanye said to Dennis. "We will find the highest award that we can give you. I love you, Dennis," he added. In about 1 month, there was a ceremony to award Dennis Rodman the Congressional Gold Medal and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Who would have ever thought that this would happen? Kanye's America was definitely a unique one. Chapter 5, East or West. Kanye had a small music studio installed in one of the offices in the White House. This is where he would sit and create hip-hop instrumentals. Kanye specialized in utilizing samples of old music to create a beat. He was sitting in the studio one day and pounding on his beat machine. The beat that he had made sounded really good. Just then, a man entered his office with a very worried look upon his face. "Sir, we have a problem," the man exclaimed. "It's gonna have to wait. I might have just created the best beat that I've ever made," Kanye replied. "Sir, New York is gone," the man yelled. "What the hell is that supposed to mean?" Kanye asked the man very angrily. "A nuclear bomb has just hit New York City. It was completely destroyed," the man said. "One bomb could do that?" Kanye asked the man. Kanye was now completely in shock, and the man had his attention. "It was a hydrogen bomb, Mr. West, a rather big one. This is the first time that a hydrogen bomb has ever been used in battle," the man said to Kanye. Now, the birthplace of hip-hop, the mecca of pizza, and pretty much the capital of the world had been completely destroyed. Pretty much every resident of New York City died instantly. 4 more people came running into Kanye's office. They all looked very afraid. "It's been verified that it was from China," a woman said. "Well, at least it wasn't Chicago." Kanye was from Chicago. "Throw 10 more back at them," Kanye screamed. "They're about to bring back the old Kanye," he yelled. That is a topic for the Secretary of Defense, Mr. West. I will get him on the phone immediately, the woman said. In a few minutes, Kanye was on the phone with the Secretary of Defense. Kanye told him to send as many missiles as necessary back at China. This was it, the start of a nuclear war. Pretty soon, every country who had nuclear weapons were all firing them off at each other. The attack and counterattack had set off a chain reaction. Everyone all over the world was in fear. After about a week, almost every major city in the world was destroyed. Those who survived this nuclear war were now living just like some sort of movie about a post apocalyptic world. It was not pretty. Violence and all out chaos ensued. The world was now more dangerous than it had ever been before. What no one had counted on was nuclear winter. There was smoke from the fires started by the nuclear weapons. It was heated by the sun and lofted into the upper stratosphere. It spread globally. The effects were semi-darkness, killing frosts, and sub-freezing temperatures combined with high doses of radiation from the nuclear fallout. There was a severe global climatic cooling effect. Global temperatures were now below 500 degrees Fahrenheit. No life on the planet survived. Earth was now lifeless. All because people chose to vote for Kanye. No one could have ever guessed that Kanye being elected president would become an extinction level event. Ugh. I really hope that you enjoyed this short story. It was completely satirical and not meant to offend a single soul.